We've been telling you about Pope John Paul II's visit to the United States 45 years ago. He made stops at some big locations like the White House, Yankee Stadium, and Boston Common, just to name a few. So how did he end up in a rural church outside of Des Moines? Organizers of the Des Moines stop were planning a big mass at Living History Farms.
But they also wanted a more quiet celebration in a setting that the Pope could only experience in Iowa. Here's how the stop at St. Patrick's Church in Cumming came about.
One of the most important parts of the Pope's visit to the United States is this little visit to a small rural church.
Personally, I think that it was Bishop Marcinkus's vision to have him go to a small rural parish. This was almost like his gift to the Pope, that he wanted to give him a different experience that was more closely related to the Pope's own roots and that would not be a venue with hundreds of thousands of people.
The Vatican official had visited the area and thought it would be good for the Pope's visit.
The Pope wants to be near people. When he was told about this option, I understand he was absolutely delighted. And he was especially delighted when he found out that the church would not be filled with priests and nuns and bishops, but would be filled with people.
They didn't have a pastor when we first found out that the Pope might be coming. So Bishop Dingman said, I'm not going to advertise for a new pastor for Irish settlement. They'll all apply if they know the Pope's coming.
Oh, I know. Let's make him the pastor. So anyway.
So he took this really young priest, Father John Richter, and appointed him pastor there without anybody knowing.
Father John Richter had a double surprise really earlier this month. Named the pastor of St. Patrick's just a day before the official announcement that the Pope would visit St. Patrick's.
They got out the register of who was registered members of St. Patrick's Irish Settlement and said, you are the people that can come on that day and nobody else.
We should probably explain a little bit about the Irish settlement. This is an old gathering of people, actually. There were good Irish names like Mulvihill.
Yeah, but there's a little walkway right over there, and that's where he came across. The chopper landed right this side of that pickup.
Certainly, as this is the perfect time for the Holy Father to be coming to rural Iowa. It is the harvest time. It is the moment when all of the work of the season is coming to fruition.
A wire or something down the line here to that tree, and then across. So this is where the press had to stay.
There we see the front view of St. Patrick's Church at Irish Settlement. And the Holy Father making his way toward the front door of the church.
I drew the assignment to go to the rural church, and that was a pretty cool thing to be able to do.
Who is Pope John Paul II has a spirit that I marvel at. He has had a rigorous trip. He has had...
Biggest thing I remember of that day was making eye contact with the Pope. Like, I don't know, he was 10 feet away? I don't know. And we made eye contact for 3 or 4 steps. I'd never seen or felt any personage like that before. He really, I'm not particularly religious, but he really gave off a vibe that he was the connection to God, the human connection to God.
Yes. I must see all the children. They are song.
And community was very important. And if you read the homily there, that was the stress at the community, Acts 2:42, the breaking of the bread, sharing of lives.
They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and fellowship, to the breaking of the bread and the prayers.
This is how it ended. We were all walking out like this.
Yes, yeah. When he was leaving, we were all walking out. It was special that he recognized farming in general as a honorable way of life,
He himself had been a farmer. We hope you can join us tonight at 10. We're going to get up close with some of the people that were inside the church, including Bob and Bobby Mulvihill. They got to meet Pope John Paul II. Also, how it means so much to this small group of people, just 200 people there that day. And a reminder that these stories and many more memories from the Pope's visit 45 years ago are living forever on our website, WHO13.com. If you click that news tab, a big drop-down menu will come down, and then just scroll down to this section and you'll find all of it there.